Welcome back to the Queen Rising podcast. I'm your host, Misty, and here we blend wellness, astrology, and feminine embodiment and help you create your dream life. If you've ever wondered what you're really here for and or you feel a little bit out of place on your current path, the key may be held inside of your birth chart. So I have been a life path astrology reader since 2020, and I love looking at clients' natal chart. And I call this your blueprint because it's essentially a snapshot of how the stars and the sun and the moon were aligned the moment you were born. And these can reflect on your personality as well as your gifts, your challenges, emotional needs, as well as your soul's purpose. This isn't about predicting fate. It's about remembering who you are and what you came here for. So let's talk about your big three. If you're watching this on YouTube and you know your big three, I would love to know in the comments below if you could put in your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. So your sun sign is where the sun was the moment you were born. The sun stays in a sign for about 30 days. It represents the core of who you are. This is your life force, your vitality, and your purpose. It represents what you're here to grow into and who you're here to express yourself as. Now, your moon sign is your emotional compass. It points to your inner world, your emotional needs, and your soul nourishment. It's often the place where you feel most at home. Now, I do go into this in depth in the Burnout Breakthrough Method, where I talk about your moon sign and how to manifest with your moon sign and needing your emotional needs met to manifest. So that's free right now. So I'll leave the link in the show notes. Now, your rising sign is your mission, like your soul's purpose, what you came here to do or to be. It has to do with how you move in the world and how others see you. It can be overlooked, but it's deeply connected to your life path and your first impressions. It is actually the most important sign in the entire chart. It's more important than your sun sign. Now, if you want to know more about your rising sign, I did a free class several years ago that is still available, and I will leave the link below and you register and I will make sure you get a link to watch that. And I go in depth on each rising sign and what you came here to do. So for instance, you may be a Leo sun, which is super fiery, but if you have a Cancer rising, you will feel most called to help nurture people. Now, your North Node is your soul's calling. It has to do with where you're going versus where you've been. Now, your North Node is opposite of your South Node. Now, the North Node stays in a sign for about 18 months. So you will notice people in your generation or people who are like you graduated with will have a similar calling as you. However, it's different because it depends on the house that it's in. The South Node is your comfort zone. It's where you have natural gifts, like no one had to teach you. It's almost like some people think of it as tied to your past life. But in this lifetime, you're being called in the opposite direction, which is your North Node. It's in the direction your soul most wants to grow into. Your North Node is your life curriculum. It represents growth lessons you are here to embody and master. Right now, collectively, we have the North Node in Pisces and the South Node is in Virgo. If you want to know more about that, I will leave the link below. I did a whole video series on that. going through each of the signs. So if you want to take this deeper, you want to pull up your birth chart and look at the house you have the north node in. So if you have a north node in the sign of Leo, you are here to lead. You're here to step into the spotlight and be your most creatively expressed. Now, if your north node in Leo is in the 6th house, the 6th house has to do with daily rituals, wellness, and work habits, and or your personal rituals. Now, a common misconception about the north node, it is your life curriculum, but it's not always tied to your career. So if you are a stay-at-home mom, you definitely have a north node somewhere in your chart, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's tied to how you're paid. Other things that we look at in the birth chart is your midheaven. Your midheaven is the very top of your chart, and it has to do with your career and reputation. Chiron is a healer. So where you have Chiron, these are your deep soul's gifts. You're called to heal the world. And these come from your deepest wounds. Saturn is one of the planets we talk about in regards to money, and it has to do with responsibility and mastery. And I went in depth in the Saturn retrograde a little bit more about Saturn. You can check that out. I don't want you to get too overwhelmed with this. So the most important signs, we talked about your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. And once you understand those, then we can take this deeper. You don't have to have this all figured out. Your natal chart is a guide and not a rule book. So you may be called to lead in your work. Just reflect on, where are you feeling drawn to right now? If you want to go deeper with this, I offer personal readings. I also have a VIP day where we can spend a couple hours together really diving deep into this. And also, I have a monthly membership coming up. You can join the wait list, and we are going to be working with the new and full moons every month, and you're going to learn so much about your birth chart month after month. I want you to remember, you were not put here to fit in. You were put here to stand out and remember who you are. I just started a brand new Instagram channel, so if you want, I would love it if you screenshot this episode, send me a DM with your sun, your moon, and your rising sign, and I'm going to pick one lucky winner to do a personal reading for.